A manhunt underway about 15 miles south of the New York-Pennsylvania line to find a man accused of murdering a woman from Jamestown nearly 2 months ago. Michael Burham escaped from a local prison in Warren, Pennsylvania overnight. You'll know he was already able to elude capture for nearly 2 weeks. When he took off from western New York back in May, he was eventually captured in South Carolina. People who live in Warren and in Jamestown in Chautauqua County are being told to be vigilant tonight, even to keep their doors locked. As the search continues, we're also learning more about how he was able to escape from that building right there. Joining me live now is Bernie Tolbert. He is a retired FBI special agent in charge here in Buffalo. Sir, appreciate getting your perspective on this. And I just want to start with kind of your reaction to what's happening right now. We just had this news conference at 5 o'clock. Basically, all we got is that the search continues. There obviously are agencies from local, state, federal, police authorities. But just the fact that he was able to get out of this prison, and we're getting some of those details, what do you make of it?
Well, it certainly raises some questions, and I know very little about some of what I've seen on TV or heard on the radio, but my first question is, this guy is known to have allegedly murdered someone, kidnapped, raped, and it's from all accounts, it seems like there were no special considerations given in terms of keeping him under wraps. So that's my first question. How could something like this happen, given the nature of his background?
When we talk about his background, I want to play something that came out of that news conference at 5 o'clock because, as I mentioned, he eluded capture for quite a while once before and was able to make it out in the wilderness. Listen to how they discussed that earlier.
As she stated before, he is a survivalist. He's been known to do these things in the past, be able to survive out there. That's why it's extremely important for us to ask the public if they know anything, if they see anything, if there's any camera footage out there, please let us know. We are following up on all tips that are coming in, and we are asking the public for assistance.
So take us behind the scenes right now if you can. There obviously is some type of command center, right? We imagine that Pennsylvania State Police probably have the lead here along with the FBI and all these different agencies. What are they doing? And they kept talking about check your camera footage. They just need to get some tip, right?
Well, sure, certainly there would likely be a command post set up somewhere in the neighborhood where all information is filtered through calls. I'm sure they're getting a multitude of calls, some of them perhaps legitimate and some just people see something they think, but that's what we ask. If you see something, say something. And all of those leads will be filtered. They'll be assigned out, parceled out to law enforcement professionals to follow up on them. And there is a lot of coordination because, like you said, there'll be local police, there'll be state police, and there'll be federal entities will all be involved. And hopefully, through that coordinated search or that coordinated effort, things will happen in a much more defined manner as opposed to different agencies going off different ways, doing their own thing. You funnel all the information into one place, you can make the best decision, decide what needs to be addressed now. Some things you can place on a back burner until later, tomorrow or sometime like that. So that's what's going on, and they're telling people to look at your cameras. As good as law enforcement is, most crimes get solved because someone gives the law enforcement a tip, something to go on. Certainly there's the forensic evidence that you'll gather, but oftentimes it's a tip from someone, at least points you in the direction, helps you to use your resource in the best manner as opposed to just having folks scattershot all over. So yeah, and if anyone knows something, if they see something, that's how he was caught the first time. If you recall, he was caught. An individual saw him in the shed in his backyard and called law enforcement, and he had left the shed area, but they very quickly caught up with him. Yeah,
2 hours later, they were able to zero in. We're going to talk about that more coming up in just a bit. This crime spree started in Jamestown, and so tonight, in addition to the warning for people who live in Warren, Pennsylvania, people in Jamestown are also being told, keep your doors locked, be vigilant. It's only, I think, 20-30 minutes apart. We're now 18 hours since he was last seen at the jail. I mean, it's entirely possible that he could be to Jamestown or even far beyond that by now, right?
Or beyond that.
How big does this get at this point?
Well, unfortunately, the last time he went as far as South Carolina, where he was eventually caught, from Jamestown, Pennsylvania to South Carolina. So you've got to figure that, especially given his survivalist skills, that he may have the ability to get at least as far. And there's there's no way of knowing. He might be hunkering down, figuring, everybody's looking right now. Let me find a place to hide for a while, and then when it's maybe easier, I'll try to make my way to wherever he wants to go. So people in Jamestown and the entire area need to take into consideration the fact that this guy, he knows the area, he's been around that area, and he may very well still be there. And I'm sure law enforcement, they're following up with, if you go back to the last time he was captured and he committed the crime, I'm sure they're going back reviewing what they did before. Okay, where did the places we know he might have gone then? Who were the people he might have contacted? Who are the people we suspect, even if he didn't contact them last time, that he might be in touch with? All of those are things that law enforcement is going to want to pay some attention to, because he's very dangerous, and the longer he's out there, the longer there's a danger to the public.
I've only got about 30 seconds left, but I want to pick up on that. A lot of people, especially when you look geographically at where this is happening, think back to Bucky Phillips. Also, the two men who escaped from Clinton Correctional a number of years ago, and then one had ties here. Just speak to, this isn't just someone who broke out of prison. This is a suspected murderer, suspected rapist. I mean, how on alert should people be?
And a known kidnapper.
A known kidnapper.
Yeah, people should certainly pay attention. If you're certainly in close proximity to that area, you need to make sure your doors are locked, make sure that you're not providing this individual any way that he might gain some aid and comfort. So people should take this seriously, lock their doors. Like I said earlier, if you see something that looks different, don't try to figure it out yourself. Call law enforcement. And certainly, if you come upon this individual by chance, don't try to intervene or do anything. Immediately call law enforcement and let them know. Let the professionals handle it.
Absolutely. Retired FBI Special Agent in Charge, Bernie Tolbert, thanks so much for helping us kind of process all of this. Sort of came out of nowhere, right? And we'll continue to follow it, sir. Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome.